Hello everyone, welcome to the editorial analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy, brought to you by the Civil Media team, and this is Abhinaya Sampath for today's editorial current affairs for the date 27th of December 2024. So displayed here are the list of important articles that we would be discussing. The first article, titled Tapping into Kazakhstan's Rare Earth Potentials, from the Hindu, discusses about Kazakhstan's role in the rare earth elements and their contribution when it comes to India. And next article, titled Dr. Manmohan Singh, from the Indian Express, discusses about the inevitable role of Dr. Manmohan Singh in the economic infrastructure of our country, India. So without any much further delay, let's get into these articles discussion. And both the articles are very light-hearted and a very easy articles to understand. So through that we would be seeing few topics related to our mains perspective. So I also encourage the students to provide their answers in the comment section for each article's mains question. So now without any much further delay, let's get into articles discussion. Now moving on to the first article, titled Tapping into Kazakhstan's Rare Earth Potential. So this article highlights Kazakhstan's potential as a strategic partner when it comes to the rare earth elements imports and the role of the rare earth element from the Kazakhstan to India and associated significance, impact and challenges. So this article stands as an important article where it talks about the importance of resources and Central Asia connectivity for more sustainable collaborations on supply chains and energy goals. So in light of this article, we will be seeing a mains question and the further content of the article. So this is the mains question and let us see a framework for it. So first let us see about Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan is the world's largest landlocked country and it has water bodies called Lake Lal Baksh, Lake Balkash and Aral Sea. So Kazakhstan is one of the countries when it comes to Central Asia, which comprises of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. The countries bordering Kazakhstan would be Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. Now let us see few basics about the rare earth element. So rare earth element are elements which are group of 17 metallic elements in the periodic table. They include 15 lanthanides. Lanthanides is nothing but metallic element. So they include 15 lanthanides along with scandium and yttrium, which have similar chemical properties. So the difference would be between these 15 and the next two metallic elements is it's just they have different electric and magnetic properties. So I hope there is an understanding about this rare earth element. So despite their name, they are not truly rare but very difficult to extract, and the process due to their dispersion in the earth's crust. Now when it comes to their properties, they have high conductivity and very strong magnetic strength. So they are very important when it comes to renewable energy such as the wind turbines, where they use the permanent magnet, where they stand as a permanent magnets for the turbine to run. And they are also used for other renewable projects such as the electric vehicles, where they are used as electric motors. They are used as solar panels which can be changed to a thin film technology and so on. So let us see their applications properly. Here in electronics, they are used in smartphones, TVs, computers with elements like neodymium and europium. In renewable energy, which is very important, here they are, as I told before, they are used in wind turbine, batteries and so on. Then in defense, they can be used for missile guidance, radar technology, nuclear technology and so on. And in the field of medicals, they are used for technologies like MRI, X-rays, and for the industrial purposes, they are mostly used for polishing and can act as a catalyst. So the use of rare earth elements are very important in the era of technology and infrastructure. Now I hope there is an understanding about the rare earth element, and now let us move on to their global reserves and production. So first, China is the most dominating country, where it has dominate production on and processing up to 70%. Now in India, it has 6% of global reserves and but limited extraction. Here, according to the IBM, India ranks 5th globally in the reserves but contributes less than only 1% to the global production. So, this gap makes our country to be bit insufficient even though we having the resources of rare earth elements. Now looking into Kazakhstan, they are one of the emerging as a key source with a lot of potential for the uh, rare earth elements. Now we have seen about the basics of rare earth elements, the basics of Kazakhstan, and now we'll be seeing the role of the other countries when it comes to the rare earth elements. First is China. Now let us look into their monopoly when it comes to the rare earth. Here China dominates the rare earth supply chain on over 1 lakh 40 tons on their annual production, where 85% of the global processing is being controlled by China according to the US Geological Survey. So China has restricted this earth rare exports in the past to exert their geopolitical pressure. For example, in 2010, it limited exports to Japan over a territorial dispute, thus highlighting the risks on their dependency. Now let us look into Kazakhstan's role and India's collaboration. Here, Kazakhstan is holding 15 identified rare earth deposits and it ranks among the 10 countries for rare earth reserves, and it has been highly collaborating with India to diversify their mineral trade. So for example, in 2023, India and Kazakhstan have signed agreements to jointly develop rare earth processing technologies and explore their mineral critical minerals. This includes initiative like the development of the titanium value chain in India, having talks on India Central Rare Earth Forum, which was recently proposed in the conference which happened in the Kazakhstan. So, Kazakhstan's resource can help India to reduce its dependence on China for rare earth products, while India technology expertise can help and complement Kazakhstan's raw material strength. Now, looking into India's rare earth strategy, here their current status. Here, India possesses 6% of the world's rare earth reserves, particularly in coastal areas of Odisha, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. However, their production is minimal due to the lack of processing facilities. Looking into the government initiatives, the Indian Rare Earth Limited, that is the IREL, is exploring advanced technologies to enhance their extraction. So this one is a public sector enterprise. So the government plans to auction these critical mineral and allocate funds to the research for rare earth elements and their extraction. Now looking into the role of sustainability, here rare earth mining generates radioactive waste and environmental degradation. So India's approach focuses on minimizing the environmental impacts by adopting sustainable practices like the urban mining, recycling, and having research and development, and this recycling would be done from the elements of e-waste, and also developing a eco-friendly extraction technologies. Now let us see a way forward for this. First is having policy recommendations. Here the government has included rare earths into the national mineral policy, emphasizing domestic capacity and building international partnership. There is a proposal dedicated to have critical mineral zones which is under the consideration. Now looking into an integration with the energy goals, as usual, India's target of achieving the 500 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity of 2030 requires a continuous supply of rare earth for their wind turbines and electric vehicles. So, in recent initiatives such as the strategic partnership with the Kazakhstan, as I mentioned before, it will play an important role in meeting those goals. Also, policies mentioned in the article such as the Connect Central Asian Policy, International North-South Transport Corridor would stand as an plus point for this collaboration to have even more impact. So, in looking into the news article, as I've told before, the India Central Asian Rare Earths Forum, which was proposed by the National Security during the second India Central Asia Summit in Astana, aims to boost partnership and private sector investment, thus facilitating bilateral training, joint mining ventures, and shared geopolitical data and expertise. So, looking into the mining ventures, it's not just about land, but also on a global level, it involves marine too. So, the rare earth elements are also found in marine. So, this also generates a new scope or perspective on understanding the rare earth elements. So, rare earth elements, as in the article mentioned, the country's president have recently highlighted the rare earth as the new oil for Kazakhstan's economy. So, this is one of the most important word or a term which can be finding new as a potential to be asked in the UPSC exams. So, here we can see how in the transitioning sector of the clean energy and renewable energy and our dependence when it comes to a lot of countries when it comes to oil and crude oil imports, we can see how the rare earth element can has the potentiality to even change as a new oil. So this article is a very simple read. So I ask the students to give this article a read and understand the importance of sectors when it comes to clean energy, when it comes to transitioning sectors, or when it comes to renewable energy, different countries role such as China, the Central Asia or Asian countries, and other category when that is the inclusion of marine. So I hope this article is clear. Moving on to the last article, our nation deeply mourns for the loss of our former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, a humble yet a phenomenal economist who single-handedly steered India's through an economic storm in 1991, transforming it into a global powerhouse. We can proudly bring in a branch called Manmohanomics, where his role when it comes to India's economic infrastructure, he stood as a resilient pillar which has its own impact even today. Manmohanomics refers to the economic vision and policies associated with Dr. Manmohan Singh, emphasizes on various sectors and factors. And now, in light of this article and in a tribute of our greatest leader, let us look into the reforms carried by Dr. Manmohan Singh and his impact, which is generationally positive even today. So, this is the mains question. Manmohanomics transformed India's economic landscape, making it one of the world's fastest growing economies. Despite criticisms and challenges, Dr. Singh remains a respected figure for his intellect, integrity, and contribution to the nation building. So, in light of this article, we will be seeing the framework for it. Now, we have seen the definition when it comes to Manmohanomics. We will be seeing few factors on emphasizing it. Here, the Manmohanomics, which focuses on economic vision and policies associated with Dr. Manmohan Singh, emphasizes on market-oriented reforms, structural adjustments in the banking and financial sector, and controlling inflation while increasing our economic liberalization. So, Dr. Manmohan Singh's leadership as the finance minister from the year 1991 to 1996 and later as the prime minister for the year 2004 to 2014 have shaped our India's economic trajectory in a very significant manner. Now, let us look out for the reforms carried out by Dr. Manmohan Singh from the year of 1932 to 2024. First, as the RBI's governor. So, here he introduced statutory liquidity ratio adjustments. He advocated for inflation control through strategic interest rate adjustments, and he has set up the Chakravarti Committee of 1985 to reform the monetary system. Now, let us look into his role as a finance minister from the year 1991 to 1996. Liberalization, privatization and globalization, the landmark LPG is done by Dr. Manmohan Singh, where he opened India's economy to have the foreign investments. He also reduced the import tariffs, promoting trade liberalization. Now looking into the tax reforms, he initiated tax reforms like modified value added tax to rationalize the indirect taxes. He reformed capital markets by modernizing the Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is the SEBI, and he deregulated industrial licensing and quotas. So through this article, we are seeing the most important changes and the most important initiatives which is done by former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now looking into the reforms as a Prime Minister from the year 2004 to 2014, he initiated large-scale social schemes like the landmark Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, the MGNREGA. Next, he implemented the Right to Education and Food Security Act. Next, he boosted infrastructure growth through initiatives like the Golden Quadrilateral Highway project. He introduced the direct benefit transfer for the subsidies to reduce the leakages. Now looking into post Prime Minister's contribution, he continued as an advising on the global economic issues, and at the same time he advocated for equitable and equal growth and sustainability in a lot of international forums. Now let us look into the positive impacts of Manmohanomics. According to the article, the economic growth of India's GDP increased from 3% in the pre-reform era to 7.8%, which is post 1991. Now looking into the poverty alleviation statistics, poverty significantly declined from 36% to 21%. Having the impacts of globalization, India was positioned as a hub for IT services and boosting their exports and employment. And looking into his role in the banking sector, which is very important, he strengthened the regulatory framework where it increased the financial stability ultimately. But even these positive impacts were challenged with a lot of other issues, such as having reliance on the foreign oil and other commodities being exposed to the global price shocks of India, which made an impact during the globalization period. It also had few backlashes for reforms like the LPG at the initial stage for the small businesses and farmers. But yet, apart from those challenges, these positive impacts have a great change when it comes to the economic scenario of India when Manmohan Singh was present. Looking into the qualities of Dr. Manmohan Singh, he is a visionary economist, as I told before. He anticipated India's need for having economic reforms even decades ahead. He is known for his clean image, his silent treatment, and yet having a personality of integrity and humility. He withstood a lot of political and social opposition to implement a lot of bold reforms despite the opposition, which shows his resilience towards his character and at the same time his intentions to reform our country, India. He strengthened the Indian global ties, particularly with the US, for example, the Indo-US nuclear deal, so that it highlights his diplomatic and his bureaucratic characteristics. And as usual, he is a scholar with a deep understanding of economic principles, which gave him an academic excellence. So Manmohanomics transformed India's economic landscape, making it one of the world's fastest growing economies. Despite a lot of criticisms and challenges, Dr. Manmohan Singh remains a respected figure for his intellect, integrity, and contribution to nation building. And he would be forever fetched in our economic scenario, as well as one of the most strongest prime ministers of India that we had. And he would be dearly missed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all are at this end of the video. Don't forget to give a like, comment, and a share. And to further not to miss any other contents, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.